The evidence, surveillance, Instagram accounts, fingerprints is something to say the least. We have the criminal complaint that lays out everything right now. Well, sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Pack. Okay, I have to share some really exciting news. Okay, we have spent so much time together here at Law and Crime, assessing over every wild twist, late night case that we wanted to find a way to get closer to the action. That is why we're finally launching Law and Crime Plus. This is your new go-to spot. It's an exclusive case file. Really dive into the evidence yourself. We really built this for the community of people who stay up late analyzing every detail while waiting for a verdict. So it's just as much as your space as it is ours. Go ahead, download the app, check out the features, let us know what you think. You can head on over to lawandcrimeplus.com today to snag our limited time deal for just $3.99 a month or $40.99 a year. How do you even make sense of this headline? Rapper Gucci Mane was allegedly robbed and kidnapped by other rappers? So as the Department of Justice puts it in the release statement, quote, this week, 9 individuals, including well-known musical artists, were federally charged for kidnapping and robbing at gunpoint numerous victims at a music studio in Dallas, Texas, announced United States Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, Ryan Raybould. 8 of the 9 were arrested in Dallas, Texas, and Memphis, Tennessee. The charged defendants include Lontrell Williams Jr., a.k.a. Shiesty, Lontrell Williams Sr., Rodney Wright Jr., a.k.a. Big 30, Kadarius Waters, Terrence Rogers, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel. Actually, by the way, there was a press conference held yesterday, and I want you to listen to that moment where they talk about that one person who was missing in this, right? Those people were charged, but not everybody had been arrested. So this is United States Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, Ryan Raybould.
One of the individuals that's been charged has not had his initial appearance yet, but agents are actively working to locate and bring him to court.
And I want to touch on that actually. They're pushing the since there's one person who's still trying to come up with this last initial appearance, you can say because they're doing public with this, let's afraid at all.
Agents are working to find him. The complaint has already been unsealed, and a number of these defendants have had their public hearing already, their initial appearance, and so it's already out there that this individual has been charged, and so that information is in the public record. But I trust that the agents will be able to identify this person and find them and bring them to justice. Of course, that person can turn themselves in immediately.
And I have in 30 text that I'm going to break down for you as simple as possible. I want you to know the allegation, the potential evidence, the parties, okay? Gives you an idea about what this case is about. I got to say this before I even get into it. You're going to understand after I go through this why these individuals were arrested in light of this alleged evidence, but all of them are innocent until proven guilty. I got to say that because, again, you're going to listen to this and you might be saying, wow, the evidence against them is arguably really bad, but nothing has been proven as of yet. Okay, with that caveat, let's get it. So this is an affidavit. It's a sworn statement from an FBI special agent in support of a criminal complaint. And this is the statement of probable cause that crimes were committed. Okay? It starts by claiming that on January 10th, 2026, the victims, who are only identified by initials, by the way, include RD, which we have to assume is Gucci Mane, because his real name is Radrick Davis. They say they were robbed and kidnapped at gunpoint at a music studio in Dallas, Texas. Now, there was apparently a scheduled meeting between RD and suspect Lontrell Williams Jr. And apparently, this hip-hop artist is known as Shiesty, and he was reportedly signed to RD's record label, 1017 Records. Now, this meeting was reportedly about a contract dispute. This is, again, according to prosecutors. And it seems that Williams Jr. wanted out. So the affidavit claims that when RD and the other alleged victims in this case, and others, go into this office building, they realize it's close. So Williams Sr., this is apparently Williams Sr.'s father, is apparently trying to book a recording studio that day for his son and for RD to record music. Williams Sr. was apparently talking to this unidentified individual known as Jay, another player. who owns the studio. It's inside this office building. So they get the geography of what we're talking about. So they created these apparent stills from surveillance footage that arguably shows William Sr. speaking to someone on the phone outside the building. I'm going to give you a little preview here. There are a lot of stills. And by the way, that helps corroborate the details. It helps corroborate the times. It corroborates the events that are laid out. The times, stills of the surveillance video. Now, an assistant reportedly arrives to help with production 3:39 p.m. that day. And the affidavit claims that this father and son deal the Williams.
Is it true? It's all about the sleep. The drops weight for brands stand from new releases in collection of samples.
Arguing with somebody on the phone. Okay, they're arguing. And I'm going to read you this verbatim. Quote, at approximately 3:43 p.m., Williams Jr. and Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, Glover, and McDaniel entered the east side of the office building. The target suspects walked through the lobby area of the office building before going inside the studio. One individual with a dreadlock hairstyle, later identified as Gibson, can be seen on video exiting the office building and shortly thereafter returning with a bag slung on his shoulder. Again, embedded in this complaint are the apparent surveillance stills. Okay? And the affidavit claims they go into the studio where the victims were, the alleged victims were, and there are stills, by the way, they include the studio lobby, the control room, the recording room. And at one point, it is alleged that Williams Jr., who was, by the way, I was blown away by this detail, was allegedly wearing an ankle monitor, okay, goes to speak to RD privately about the contract. I'll talk about that in a second. But there was allegedly an argument, and it ends up with Williams Jr. being accused of taking out a black AK-style pistol and pointing it at RD, allegedly demanding he sign the contract release paper. Now, RD allegedly complied, signed it, and there was the claim that RD was not allowed to leave as he was being held. There are allegations that Wright allegedly recorded RD signing the paperwork and being forced to say he released Williams Jr. from the contract. And then afterwards, it's alleged that Williams Jr. took RD's wedding and watch and earrings and cash. He wanted to say that one video. I'm going to read you verbatim again from the complaint. Waters, Rogers, Johnson, Glover, McDaniel, and Gibson produced handguns or AK-style pistols and began to demand property from BP and Gardner. BP was pushed onto a couch in the control room, while an individual known to BP as CMO Dan Fu and part of Williams Jr.'s crew searched his pockets and stole the wallet. BP's chain and necklace were stolen. McDaniel threatened to shoot BP for moving, but Williams Jr. instructed McDaniel not to. And then was choked from behind the point in losing consciousness during the kidnapping robbery, resulting in scratches on his neck and wrist. Now, embedded in the complaint are what appear to be photos seemingly showing cuts or abrasion on the man's neck and wrist. And there's a claim that his wallet, watches, and a Louis Vuitton bag and headphones were stolen. And if you're wondering about the security, right, do they have security with them? Well, the claim is that the victim's security realized they were outnumbered and outgunned. Goes on to say, quote, RD was pushed onto the couch in the control room. See about Gucci Mane, causing the victims to believe they were going to be executed. Williams Jr. placed the barrel of a firearm at the back of BP's head and ordered him and RD to leave the control room in the studio through the west entrance of the office building. RD then instructed CW and TD to escort them to their vehicle. As the victims left, and then turned to Williams Jr. and asked him if they were really taking his blockage. Based on later recovered surveillance video footage, the target suspects left the studio and the office building through the east entrance approximately 4:48 p.m. And from there, the affidavit lays out the photos of the alleged suspects reportedly leaving the building, and also the cars that were believed to be connected to them traveling toward them. Now, how did they find the alleged suspects? So this is really interesting. We're going to start with vehicle identification. So the affidavit claims that Wright's father owns a 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat with Tennessee plates. The authorities apparently used license plate readers to track the Charger following another car, a Dodge Ram. We're talking about 2:18 p.m. on January 10th. And they claim that Dodge Ram looks like the one on surveillance video near the crime scene later that afternoon. They apparently used license plate readers to also link the Charger traveling very close to a white Buick Enclave, and using rental records, they determined that the Enclave was rented by William Senior. Let's go to electronic location monitoring. Remember when I said ankle monitor for Williams Jr.? Well, apparently, he was serving a sentence for federal drug and weapons charges. Home detention, had to wear an electronic monitoring device. So they're able to use location data from that device to seemingly track his apparent movements near the crime scene. And then the affidavit claims that Williams Sr. and Williams Jr. went to a Staples store earlier in the day. Why? The allegation is to print off the contractual release paperwork, which again was a key part of this whole alleged dispute and incident. Now, the feds say surveillance video and GPS data put them there. Cell phone records. You know these are always key in a criminal investigation, right? I'm going to read you verbatim what it says. Stay with me. This is a big part. Investigators obtained cell phone records for Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, and Gibson, and telematics location data and records for the Dodge Charger Hellcat and the Dodge Ram. Records indicate Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, and Gibson traveled together from Memphis, Tennessee to Dallas, Texas in the Dodge Charger Hellcat and the Dodge Ram. They left Memphis on January 8, 2026 and arrived in Dallas in the early morning hours of January 9, 2026. The data from Glover's electronic monitoring device aligns with these cell phone records. January 10, 2026, from approximately 2:28 p.m. to approximately 2:46 p.m., Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, the Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the Dodge Ram were in the area of the Windrose Tower, the location Williams Jr. resided prior to moving. They all traveled together to the area of a fence location, meaning the crime scene, arriving at approximately 3 p.m. The data from Williams Jr.'s electronic monitoring device and location information for the Buick Enclave align with the cell phone records. Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, the Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the Dodge Ram traveled together from the area of the offense location, leaving at approximately 4:50 p.m. to the area of the Star in Frisco, Texas, arriving at approximately 5:07 p.m. Exactly. Williams Jr., Williams Sr., Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, and Gibson utilized towers with coverage that includes the Star until approximately 9:30 p.m. The data from Williams Jr.'s electronic monitoring device and location information for the Buick Enclave aligned with the cell phone. Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, the Dodge Charger Hellcat, and the Dodge Ram. I have to keep repeating. I think it's important that you identify the different parties here and different sources of location. Traveled together from the area of the Star in Frisco to the area of the Comfort Inn, where they remained overnight. Williams Jr. and Williams Sr. remained in the area of the Star. Goes on to say, cell phone records indicate that on January 13, 2026, Wright, Johnson, and Waters traveled together with the Dodge Ram from Dallas, Texas to Memphis, Tennessee. So, if these allegations are true, you are seeing firsthand, in detail, how difficult it is in 2026 in an urban environment to commit a crime and not be tracked. This is a digital world, digital prosecution, and it can be very tough for defense attorneys to argue against the reliability of this data, particularly if you're combining different forms of data, cell phone with surveillance, with GPS monitoring, right? But you heard the Comfort Inn, by the way, for the affidavit. The Comfort Inn records confirmed, actually, that Gibson paid for rooms at the hotel. And now you have that application. Investigators reviewed surveillance footage from the Comfort Inn and observed Wright, Johnson, Waters, Rogers, Gibson, Glover, McDaniel inside the Comfort Inn, all clad in clothing similar to what the suspects in the kidnapping and robbery appeared to be wearing. And in the affidavit are literal side-by-side comparisons of the alleged players, what they were seemingly wearing at the crime scene versus what they were seemingly wearing at the Comfort Inn. All allegations, you see why this is building on. Now, there's also a section about how investigators found prints. So we're talking fingerprints, latent prints, of Gibson and Rogers on these red solo cups too that were apparently left with fronts. Move on to social media. This one's next level, okay? So apparently investigators compared the descriptions of Williams Jr. from the victims, like how they described him, to an Instagram account at Shiesty. And investigators say it shows a match. And they end up doing that for Williams Sr., Wright, and Waters, and how even there are photos apparently of them together online, and how they even match state IDs with these accounts too. And I gotta call out Rogers here. Surveillance location. The individual believed to be Rogers can be seen exiting the building carrying what appears to be the Louis Vuitton bag MM reportedly stolen. On January 15th, 2026, so just a few days later, Rogers posted a video on @DamnFool375 showing him wearing a Rolex GMT Master 2 with an oyster steel band that appears visually similar to the watch stolen from MM, who provided investigators with photographs, a receipt, and the serial number for the stolen watch. Additional posts on @DamnFool375 show that he was wearing shoes similar to those he wore during the offense. The embedded photos allegedly show this too. In Glover's Instagram, here's a sample. January 11th, 2026, a story featuring a large amount of cash, a Rolex visually similar to the one stolen from MM, and a location tag of Dallas, Texas, January 17th, 2026. A story showing Glover with a Rolex that appears identical to the one stolen from MM, stating he got a new rope believed to be slang for watches or necklaces. January 19th, 2026, videos of Glover wearing a necklace with a 1017 pendant that appears identical to the one stolen from BP. So the allegation being you didn't only steal all this.
Why did it work? Because you were thinking toward Bluetooth Gold is literally built for turning your mind and body.
You flaunted it. Now, defense attorneys would say, not the same necklace, they own this. These are kind of rare items. If you're talking about that Rolex. And I'm sure they could have a dispute about whether or not these items were actually stolen or not. But again, timing, circumstances, potential rarity of these items, something to keep in mind. Innocent until proven guilty, probably. Now, something else that I have to note that may be used as evidence later on. So when you apparently go to these guys' like Instagram pages, from what I could see, they're pretty much scrubbed. They might have a couple posts still up, but that appears to be it. You know, Shiesty still has a lot on it, so it's kind of hard to tell if stuff is gone from that. But if prosecutors can prove that they deleted stuff to potentially destroy evidence or try to hide from authorities, that will be interesting. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it was deleted after their arrest for some reason or after the charges. I don't really know, but it's something I've noticed. And then in this paperwork, they do something that I think is really interesting, and I'll just say kind of refreshing, because in this criminal complaint, at least for my analysis purposes, they really list out the evidence against each defendant very clearly. So, for example, Lontrell Williams Jr., eyewitness accounts state that Williams Jr. brought RD into the defendant's video, demanded that RD sign the release contract at gunpoint before taking RD's wedding ring, watch, and cash. These accounts also placed Williams Jr. in the room when the additional kidnapping and robberies event occurred. Cell phone records, electronic location monitoring, and surveillance footage place Williams Jr. at the offense location. Electronic location monitoring data also places Williams Jr. at a Staples location with his father, believed to be printing the termination track prior to arriving at the offense location. And they do this again for everyone. Defendants, and then it goes on to say, based on the facts set forth above, there is probable cause to believe that on January 10th, 2026, in the Dallas Division of the Northern District of Texas, DeMarcus Glover, Demarion Gibson, Jorge Johnson, Darian McDaniel, Terrence Rogers, Kadarius Waters, Lontrell Williams Jr., Lontrell Williams Sr., and Rodney Wright Jr. conspired to and committed kidnapping in violation of 18 USC 1201A and C. By the way, when you hear like that they're together, see what was on the robberies going on, that's the agreement, right? Conspiracy is an agreement. Commit a crime. You know, what were the overt steps taken in furtherance of that agreement? And my understanding, if convicted, each defendant faces a sentence of up to life in prison. This is again putting it here. I mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. There was a press conference that was held, it happened yesterday, I want to play you some more sound from it. Okay, it fills in some of the details. And again, this is the United States Attorney when asked about the victims. I think it's interesting what he said.
This case really underscores the importance of standing up for crime victims, no matter who they are or where they come from. And the incredible collaborative, investigative partnerships that we have, not only in the Northern District of Texas, but across the country. And we are all working together to make our country safer. As far as victims go, we won't get into at this time who the victims are. I'm not going to get into the victim stuff at this time. I think that more will be coming out there that'll help clarify, but I'm not at liberty at this stage of the investigation to disclose that.
Yeah, so at the time of this reporting, authorities haven't absolutely said this allegedly happened to Gucci. There are protections of victims in every state, every prosecution, so you have to keep that in mind. But you know how I mentioned the evidence, right? This is the U.S. Attorney talking about that evidence and the punishment.
That was one of the reasons I wanted to list off some of the evidence that has been uncovered to date. A lot of this was subpoena work, search warrant work, and things like that in order to develop the investigation. And so the agents here with me, the agents out in the field, it takes a little bit of time to identify who did this offense and build a case so that we feel comfortable bringing the charges. So actually that's pretty quickly for a federal case of this gravity and this nature. And so I'm very proud of the investigative work, and it will continue from this office as well as our FBI and our local police department. They're facing a range, so there's no mandatory minimum in this case. It's a range of punishment, and it'll be in the province of the judge, whoever gets the case. But it could be from 0 all the way to life imprisonment. And as you know, a lot of what will guide what's called the sentencing guidelines will be the individual's previous criminal history, the fact that one of these individuals committed offense while on home confinement, so actually serving a federal offense. Assuming that individual is convicted, that will be an aggravating factor for sure.
Big case, big developments, big evidence. We'll continue to monitor what happens next. And that's all we have to do right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on YouTube, on podcast, Spotify, wherever you should get your podcasts. And also check us out on NBC's Peacock as well. If you want to follow me, X, Instagram, my News Nation show, Jesse Weber Live. Thank you Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern. See you next time.
I asked my husband, when did you get so big? His confidence hits different with Rougiette Ready. It dissolves under his tongue, works in 15 minutes on average, and can last for up to 36 hours. Rougiette Ready is the first ED formula with apomorphine, which helps fire up arousal signals in the brain, combined with sildenafil and tadalafil to amplify arousal and performance, not just blood flow. Honestly, he gets harder erections, he gets bigger erections, and yes, we have better sex. So up to 3 times stronger than generic ED.
What the fuck with that layup? That's crazy. Yeah, for sure. I was still on my end. Crazy. Yeah, 2K on that side. 2K trying to give them all the animations and shit. Look at that. 2K is literally giving them the animations, bro. What the fuck? No skill. No skill. Bro. Sugar fuck Steve. What the fuck? I've seen you get friend. Where's Steve? I've seen him steal it. Force to three. You got it. Shoot it, man, that call that shit. Niggas from his head, niggas. Oh my god. That's how you know this. That's how you know this game is cheating for these niggas, bro. Like, what the fuck? These niggas is so lost. This is. What the fuck, my nigga? That late ass call. What the fuck? That shit was late. Get the fuck out of here. You ain't really thinking it was still, that's it. Yeah, right? Yeah. Chuck, yeah. Backhand sights, you know. Man, that's supposed to be a steal, bro. That's that bullshit. That was my black guy. That would have been a fucking steal. Like, they get like, that's a steal. That's fucking bored, boy. That's fucking bored. Better respect it. Damn, who is this big red machine bitch? Jump. Let's jump, Alazars. Jump in this game balls. Fuck these things. I'm starting to practice that LT shit. Crabbing it like that, literally. Cut that nigga, bro. Cut that nigga. Yeah. Well, shit. Bro, you telling me, bro? They gave you a full bar? Yeah, they gave me a full bar. I'm not make that. What's the status? Get that nigga, bro. Get that nigga right now, bro. Get that nigga right now, bro. Get that nigga right now, bro. This game is bullshit. I would have contested the fuck out that nigga, boy. To that. Yeah, take us off our third game. That was that for the three. That said, if we have losing before, yeah, we lost that. Remember? Oh shit, we would have been on like the 7 game. It was just fucking so short, bro. Change that base. The other consumption, no. Change the base.
An American Home Shield warranty can help protect major home systems and appliances. And if AHS can't repair the covered item, they'll replace it. It's a hell of a ball. American Home Shield. Sign up today at ahs.com.
Ice cream time. Even for part of my take, things don't always go our way. Come on, you stupid car! Come on. That's when you snap into a Slim Jim. Snap into a Slim Jim. You're now tuned into $1 million worth of game today. We got the one and only, the legendary Rampage Jackson on. I'm just saying that's the record. That's the record. There's a lot of stuff going on, but listen, man. I just said this. I'm telling you, I had a bet. I said, listen, man. At the end of the day, Rampage was a bad bull, but I know 5 dudes that would have kicked his ass.
We disagree.
In real time.
I said you would have fucked.
No. These 5 dudes would have whooped your ass. Number 1, Mr. T. Number 2, Junkyard Dog. Number 3, Kimbo Slice would have destroyed you. Number 4, Kimbo's right. Apollo Creed. And what in a fight? That's all it brings is a monster. Okay. Yeah, that's it. And probably, like I said, Mr. T. Sure enough. Oh, okay. That's the only one that I think that you probably like really close. Sure enough probably would have been a tough fight. So I'll be honest. I'm a realist. Kimbo Slice would have worked you out, man. No, but listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I coached Kimbo Slice on Ultimate Fighter. I mean, just I'm telling you, I know his every strength and his every weakness. I don't want to talk ill about the dead. I love
Rest in peace to the legend.
Rest in peace. I'm real cool with his son, but you know what I'm saying. I'm a fighter. I gotta break it out for you. I gotta let you know. Kimbo's life, bad motherfucker. Bad motherfucker. I'm gonna tell you something. I got way more strength. I would have been deep waters, and I would have knocked him out. Who took you with me waters when they was working ass so good? You was like, I can't wait till I get up out of here. Did you ever tell him like that? No, I never thought like that. I always thought like, I gotta come back. I gotta come back. But John Jones, he took me down through that. But John Jones, a dirty motherfucker. Every time I was doing anything good, he'll poke me in the eye, then kick my knee back. But the only thing why I'm salty about that is just because of this. John Jones is the best fighter on the planet. He didn't need the dirty stuff.
I mean, so when you in the ring, what hurt the most? Because getting your knee kicked backwards, that just sound like some crazy shit.
And honestly, your adrenaline going so bad. I didn't feel that pain, but the only pain I ever really felt in a match was when I got that little muscle poking through my ribs. That was like, I thought my ribs were poking out. That and then leg kicks. You can feel leg kicks, but me personally, like you get knocked, you get hit in the jaw, you don't feel it. What is the hardest part of mixed martial arts? The hardest part, I would say, it's like what? Besides cutting weight, it depends. If you gotta cut weight, that's hard. You gotta cut a lot of weight. That's hard. Like one time, one of my first fight in Japan, I had to cut 27 pounds in 3 hours. How do you do that? Man, dude, I was there, spitting, jacuzzi, working out in jacuzzi, go to a cold bath, black shit jacuzzi. Jacuzzi, sauna, jacuzzi, cold, spitting, praying, everything. I lost 27 pounds. They wanted me to lose 30, but I pretended like I pretended like I was going to pass out. I had my teammates carry me to the Japanese people. So I was fighting a Japanese guy. He was a legend. You guys know the races, right? Yeah. All right. So this guy, this guy's named Sakuraba. He was the first person that he beat like 3 or 4, tapped him out and everything. Yeah, Sakuraba. And I had to fight him my first fight in Japan. So they you know how they do it. They wanted me to, it was no weight class, but they wanted me to do 30 pounds to fight. But they wanted me to do it the day of the fight, which is like suicide, because when you cut weight, you lose that water around your brain and you easily get knocked out. Yeah. So I'm like, no, I'm not fighting. So they were like, all right, we'll do it today. And they said, you got 3 hours. Or, that was the most money I ever was going to make at that time. It was the most money I ever made at that time. But I was already prepared. You said something. You said that you made Rampage Jackson made more money streaming than he did fighting the UFC. I made more money from sponsors. Like I think they got edited and taken out of text. I make more money just off sponsors. Yeah, like in the eight months I've been streaming, in the 25 years I've been fighting. But that's still streaming. Counts that because streaming is the way to get no. But I didn't make more money than I made fighting. I made more money from sponsors. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay. I made more money fighting. Yeah, I made millions fighting, but off sponsors. I didn't.
You saying when you was a fighter, you didn't make as much sponsorship money as you making now as a streamer.
Yeah.
And that is kind of outrageous. It's kind of like LeBron James or somebody like, I was a superstar athlete. I ain't make no money. I was a superstar athlete. But now I'm running around with a camera and I'm just entertaining and showing personality and all the sponsors is coming.
Yeah. What is the key ingredients of winning streaming? Bro, what I think is like, first of all, you got to be yourself, bro. Because after a while, you know what I'm saying, you can't keep faking it out. But I think you got to grind. But actually streaming, they make it easy for you because it's the clip. If you do something like that's fun or something, if you go viral because of the clip, and I got to look at my streaming manager. He's actually the person who made the whole clipping thing like
popular. He came up with it first. He was working with another streamer named Fuzi, and he started paying like, "I want you to do this quick put on in there." Guy's a genius, right? And so when I started streaming, I had no idea about the clipping part because I was streaming Twitch years ago, playing video games. But I'm a game, I just play kid, but yeah. Then I stopped for a long time. I started streaming, doing my hair on kids. And heard this thing called clipping. I had no idea. I was streaming one day. The next thing you know, I was just scrolling on TikTok. Like, man, I just did this shit. And the shit was going viral. And that's what, like, I think that's what I got lucky because I can keep streaming it. If nothing getting good, nobody see it, nobody will know, right? That's what y'all see. Y'all not, even out, only like 5,000 to 8,000 people tune into my streaming to live. But the kids going, like, you know, one month I got, in 1 month I got over 800 million views and all over the internet. And it's just a good thing going crazy.
Let me ask you a question. Did you get back on the
I don't know about doing the man anymore because like
what if Jake Paul for you?
no, I was gonna fight Jake Paul now just because this I just pay attention to the shit. And I don't know if I should say anything, but I can say this. Just look at all his opponents. People like that. First I would down there. No, but I think Jake Paul got hurt in the injury anyway, so I don't think he's gonna be fighting. If he can come back and fight, he's miraculous. I take my head off for him. You give him much more respect because Rich Jake Paul like got me back into watching boxing. He was doing boxing when Kobe when nobody fight. He brought boxing back to me.
Is the UFC in decline? Do people care like you used to? Y'all was in. And you think the fighters were greater than y'all was in it, than you was in it to what it is now?
You know what? The fighting was different when I was in. Like we all had different personalities. Y'all remember Chuck Liddell? I had the camouflage stores, and everybody had their own different flavors and stuff. Now they all got the same uniform, and you know what I'm saying. And
Take away personality.
they took away personality. Everybody looked alike and looked, you know what I'm saying. It's really hard to stand out. So I think that's the part that's different. But now I think some of the fighters got more skill. They doing crazier moves. You know what I'm saying? They doing spinning elbows and all these different stuff like you off like that. And Conor McGregor took that stuff. So, he kept saying anything like the household thing, and you know what I'm saying. So there's a lot of good things and bad things. I think the fighters are making more money now than what we making and stuff like that. And that's a natural progression and shit. You know, you guys remember back in the damn 70s, the NBA, the NFL, they wasn't making it. They wasn't getting it. Now, you know,
Now they get 52 million a year.
Yeah. So that's where I think the man's at. Hopefully, it's you know, being like where the top 1% can get paid like the top 1% in boxing. Yeah, but it's not the same.
Oh,
It's not the same.
it just seemed like it was way bigger. Like the matches, it was more people, was more tuned in. You knew like you said, once the personalities got,
Yeah.
y'all had legends in this.
Yeah, they killed that. You know what? This is fucking crazy too. Like I feel like it's just my fault because I had this manager from England, fucking idiot. I fired for this, for them things that, you know, you'll see stuff like about this. You don't got racial with no other motherfucking sponsors. Why you care about Reebok? It was supposed to be the biggest thing in the UFC. And
They was coming to get you how much?
well, they heard me go up in like that. They did. That's what I'm saying. I made more money off endorsement now streaming. Then that Reebok shit probably could have changed. I was supposed to get a couple million out there, but Reebok they savage was doing the shit too anyway. But so Reebok like that. We get more press from not being able to sponsor you than we would sponsor you. So they did a deal with them for months earlier. My fucking dumbass manager go to the UFC and tell them like, hey, let's start this whole program where, you know what I'm saying, all the fighters sponsored by, you know, this and the whole thing, the whole package thing that they did. So
he went against you.
he went against me. And then they took my Reebok deal and that's what started the whole thing. That's why they had to wear the whole kits, stuff like that. So that's why I was like, I pieced out. from UFC, and the UFC tried to act like I retired and everything. I went to this lesser show called Bellator. They paid me more money than UFC, and so I got the bag, but nobody knew I went there because they wasn't as popular as UFC. So they came to the picture like I retired. Yeah, I was like, man, fuck y'all took my Reebok sponsor. I was salty for a couple of years. Yeah. I said, yeah, that was all. Yeah, I went to Bellator. I made a bag. But, so I was making money off pay-per-view. I paid, but people started buying and streaming pay-per-view, so that shit was going down.
Let me ask you this. What's one thing, right, that happened during your fight career that the fans and the media and everybody thought they had right about you, but they still wrong to this day?
What about my fight?
Yeah, about anything that during your career that might have came out that the fans or the media and they swear they know everything and they thought they might have been right about it, but still to this day they don't have no clue.
Man, it's some shit, but I don't know if I should bring it back up.
Oh, okay.
But I can say this. One, after I lost my belt.
Yeah, come on.
People say that I made a chick have a miscarriage. It wasn't true. She doing insurance fraud, and when the lawyers found out about it, cleared it up. You know what I'm saying? One of my friends was finna give up. Yeah. So I had to give to him. And I hit the side of her mirror on her car to get to one of my good friends, just to give him a message. And she did the old okey doke, like, oh, I had a miscarriage. And she had 7 miscarriages because she was trying for a baby, and the last one she had was 5 days prior to that day. You know what I'm saying? So, and when the people did their investigation and everything, they found out that she was lying, and she could change the story. Oh no, I hurt my back, but they never cleared shit up for me on my end. So, a lot of people bring that shit up, and I'm human. It hurts, but I know the truth. People talk about shit like that, but I can't get mad at somebody trying to scam insurance, but you know what I'm saying.
No, you can though. You can get mad because it's like.
I know she. Listen, I'm from Memphis, bro. You know what I'm saying.
I understand the come up, but at the end of the day, you put some mustard on my jacket.
Yeah,
like you know what I'm saying. You could have.
It could. Yeah, I could have got canceled. Yeah.
Right. You feel what I'm saying? And it wasn't true. You know what I mean? Like you saying it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I could feel some type of way because it's like it could have won a whole total different way.
There you go. Did like the
due diligence. They said, no, that didn't happen. That was it.
Yeah, that was one thing that I wish, like, man, why they didn't why they didn't come up with this story, but it is good.
This episode.
An American Home Shield warranty can help protect major home systems and appliances. And if AHS can't repair the covered item, they'll replace it. It's all in the ball. American Home Shield. Sign up today at ahs.com. You guys are just like State Farm, right?
So that's it. Stop living on a prayer. Get State Farm.
This episode of $1 Million Worth of Game was brought to you by Cash App. Cash App has just released a new status program for the way people actually spend, called Cash App Green. It unlocks new ways for you to pay, get rewarded, and easily grow or manage your money on your terms. Now, when you spend at least $500 a month with Cash App, Card, or Cash App Pay, you earn green status. Cashback offers every Friday at places you love to shop. Turn everyday spending into status with Cash App Green. Download Cash App today or visit cash.app/Lou to learn more about this and other great features launching now. For limited time only, new customers can earn $10 if they use Cash App 10 in their profile and sign up. Send $5 for further than 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial service platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. prepaid debit cards issued by Sudden Bank, member FDIC, Cash App Green, overdraft coverage, borrow, cashback offers, promotions provided by Cash App or A Block. Cash Bank offers and promotions provided by Cash App, A Bank Inc. brand. Visit cash.apps/legal/podcast for full disclosures. Cash App, the best way to send some money, right? This episode of $1 Million Worth of Game was brought to you by Harry Giuseppe Rose. You know, he did 20 years in jail, so he studied jail just. With a little ass bitching in him. What's a shit?
Fight them all. So I
try to change the subject. So
I'm just saying, I go this kid go.
oh, I could tell you one story. So this old head, right? Been there forever in the jail, right? Soon as he come to the jail, you gotta understand, he's 17.
You were 17 when you went there?
So they certified him as deaf.
In prison?
Yeah. So as soon as he get there, right? He want to get his fight game up because he in prison. Like, I learned how to get down here. Oh, he had him in the cell. We teaching him in 1-2. Listen, he getting strict for the whole time. OG filling him up. You don't even know. He's so green. He's so green to the game. Oh, yeah, no, don't listen. Right, make sure it's tight. He in there talking about. He like, every time you punch, make sure you say. He in there talking about. Oh, yeah. Like, listen. No, listen to me. It just so happened another OG from the neighborhood that we grew up in found out he was down there boxing with him, right? And he know this how OG set you up. He gets you in there, he act like he teach you how to box, he get behind you, you go right to sleep. All the ass all in there, he broke into it, so the old man come down there, man, get this one left, you get about to tell me. He like, wow, he used to show me how to fight me. Put you on the million.
You know, that remind me of that's what I'm laughing on. Remind me of what Chris got Phase on Love that he did. And that's what it reminds me of. You would have been trying stuff like that again. Nah. No, they don't mean that. They don't
like, I ain't going in there. They've been rapping, you put them down, rap. People been rapping dudes in the set. Boom, look at that. He ran into me, turn on me. Guys. This is
Listen, though. But he, you know, he was a motherfucker, man. He got through 73 days.
There's a category martial arts called Low Flying Gas. I named that to me.
You know what low fly do mean? Soon as a motherfucker even look aggressive, sit down.
Never really had to call the COs. You didn't have no problem there, don't you? I'm martial arts.
Fuck out of here.
My hands and feet are licensed. I ain't never really had a
motherfucking boy box was licensed too. When he was screaming,
I was a juvenile.
He was doing me.
Man, I was a juvenile. Like,
nigga, they
I grew up right across the street from some wannabe pimps and drug dealers, right? And they like, why would they want to be? Because they wasn't doing it. They wasn't doing that.
That nigga had a half a bitch. They had pulled out.
Bro, yeah, he wasn't getting. His bro wasn't getting. He wasn't. They wanted. That's what they wanted me to think. I started having when I was like 8. They liked to took me in the wings. I went to fight. I was a
They taught you how to fight on the street.
Yeah.
Like,
no, not like that. Hell no. Nobody told me no. Nobody told me shit. You know what they used to play like football.
Yeah.
And they just made me tough. Like, and my cousins are older than they used to make me tough, like beat me up, stuff like that. But these guys, play street football. And they all grown. They like most of them like 10, 20, 30 years older than me, and they like it. And they taught me how to fight. I was tough, and bro, these guys, they say you wanted to be good. And Jay, you know, so it's helping me got to sell drugs. Oh, and line the wrong wheel. And then one time, I traded some crack for these Z.I. Rock. And I was like, I Rock Z. I was like 10, 9, 10 years old. I was driving, and this other friend of the family, she was on the shit, but she was a friend of the family, and she asked me to take over to some projects. I done that. I didn't know it was fucking track. You know, I didn't know. And the police looked at me and what the fuck are your young ass doing here driving here? You know, with what I Rock Z. Yeah, that's shit. Hell yeah.
So let me ask you what. So they was like bootleg pimps and bootleg drug dealers. I mean, you was a bootleg drug dealer.
Yeah, I was.
Just throw that out.
No, it's up. They were smart, but they used to put the shit on me. So
you was youngest.
Yeah, and you're not gonna go to jail for it. Yeah, they my mom would get me right out, and they were smart. They didn't have to run and nothing like the police. They put everything on. Then later on, they taught me the value of everything. So I grew up like that, smoking weed with them, drinking, hanging out with them, and stuff like that. But that shit took me to jail. I didn't like it. And I never went back. But then at the college, I got in a fight with one of my teammates, and he hit me in the house. You mean the payphone? He hit me in the payphone. And it was self-defense, but the bills happened too far. So I did like a little time in college. But you need his ass in my thing. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was the last call he made.
That last call, that could have been a movie. The last call.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lord Rampage Jackson.
So he had done a couple other things. So, I was wrestling in college. He won a teammate saying. He was from I think the Washington area, where you know saying that's all I can say about him. He wasn't one of us. He didn't like me for no other reason. You know what I'm saying? Right. So he that was his last problem. He was good.
Who was better? A prime Pride or prime UFC Rampage? I like when I ask a question in person.
Yeah, that was a good question. You know what? And Pride, I just didn't do it for. I didn't do it for. I didn't have a whole lot of skill with striking and stuff like that, and I was going out there. I was going out there to entertain the fans, but still win. But in the UFC, you know what I'm saying? I was trying to win. But still, keep my name up. But in Pride, you didn't have to. You didn't have to. All you had to do was think exciting fights. You went to the contract team. UFC, you just fight the road. You get cut. You get a contract. You get a private. I don't know. Maybe Pride campaigns. Maybe.
So that means you won a lot of fights. You all anger than skill.
A lot of people think I named my face fight name. No, I've lost my temper. Yeah, you do it. But right now.
I'm saying like fighting anger. Oh, you everything is about skill.
Yeah. I lost my temper one time, but I can't fight anger.
Who was that again?
When I talk about that guy, maybe you guys haven't seen. Yeah. One guy really pissed me off, and I tried to say, do the match. And I don't think it's fair about losing my temper in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I'm like game tag. Yeah. You know how you get real, man. You get big, you can't control it. So I don't think it's fair. I don't want to risk gassing myself out because I lose my temper in sparring, and that's what happened. But most of the time, it's in like the beginning of the camp, and my cardio ain't all the way there yet, right? So but I always that's my biggest fear is getting tired of fighting. And I used to fight for 10 minutes. Yeah, the rounds and the games around.
Damn, straight.
Yeah, 10 minutes. No fight 10 minutes straight. How many rounds? Well, the first round is 10 minutes, then you get a 2-minute break, and you got 2 5-minute rounds. But the first round is 10 minutes.
That's a lot of drama.
Yeah.
But this is what I need to know. How do you maintain your body with all that wear and tear? And this like for most most athletes, and they always talk about somebody thinking, some outside stuff. But it's like, who could take this much? How can a human take this much wear and tear on their body without trying to say, "Damn, I need some"? How do you align of that to try to repair your body? Because how do it go to maintain your body?
Bro, I'm saying internet is such a young sport. We just know anything about internet stuff, bro. And my couple of these, back when I was going, bro, my body stuff and stuff back.
Well, they didn't have people like people behind the scenes that was like, the sports medicine people and none of that.
No, like when you fall, they just had the doctors back there to stitch you up if you got fucked up or something like that.
You go home, man.
Yeah, or if you had to go to the hospital, you go to the hospital. They didn't have like what you have for basketball players and football players. We didn't have that. Now I think the UFC just got the PI where they have something like that was physical therapy. We didn't have none of this shit. Yeah, so right now, bro, like my knees, my gun faces, they killed me. Bro. I didn't know. I was like 2 months ago. After my fight, I have eight bruising things. I just go out drinking with my foot. Oh yeah, I won my fight. Even though I lost, like fuck it, I lost. And then you win. Yeah, I won. You go get drunk stuff like that. Then the next day, you got oh shit, I fucked my knee up. Oh god damn. Well, just ice it a little bit. And if you wait a week, you go back to the dog game.
Do a lot of UFC fighters suffer from depression when they're going over?
No, you know what?
Like I hear thing that you ever see, like
I haven't seen one fighter retired suffer from rather having a lot of the older ones, I kind of feel like for them not doing the greatest financially. They still have great spirits and
still there when you see it.
yeah, when I see them, or unless they faking it, but I haven't seen it.
That's still, and like a lot of athletes, shit over. They suffer from depression because you gotta understand, like basketball players, a lot of MMA fighters, hockey players, they just doing that shit their whole life. That's all they know. And then one day they gotta say it's over. And they be like, damn, this really over. Like,
Yeah.
and then the worst shit comes. Because now your wife used to you not being there. So now you there all fucking day. Now you arguing about shit you never had to argue about. Why you left tone seat down, shit like that. You would usually be at the gym during these times. Now you find yourself getting more petty ass arguments because she not even used to being there. Why you ain't pick that up? What? Fucking be like, man, I'm trying to go coach or something. I gotta get the fuck out of there.
I think that's what a lot of fighters do. Because it's easier for them to go and coach like a lot of fighters kind of need to go back to their hometown and open up a gym,
Right.
like that.
So it has something to do.
That's something to do. That's why I started sprinting. I was always trying to get back in there, but then not just fucking off of it. My body was injured.
This episode of Me About What the Game is going to you about stash. You don't need to overhaul your life to start investing. Just all of it. With stash, your New Year money goals can quietly run in the background while you focus on everything else. Stash isn't just another investment app. It's a registered investment advisor that combines automated investing with expert, personalized guidance. You don't have to worry about gambling or figuring it out on your own. Stash is simple, smart, and stress-free. Choose from personalized investments. Let Stash award-winning smart portfolio do the work for you. Or pick a combo of both. Stash is there to guide you. Stash is there to guide you every step of the way. Stash Smart Portfolio helps to invest in a diversified, balanced portfolio and on a regular schedule, which can help build wealth over the long term. And with Stash Streets, you can get the little boost you need to turn steady investing into a habit, making it easier to start, stick with it, and stay invested over time. Don't let your money sit around. Put it to work in Stash. Go to get.stash.com/dollar and see how you can receive $25 for your first stock purchase into your
An American Home Shield warranty can help purchase major home systems and just can't repair the covered item, they'll replace it. It's all in the ball. American Home Shoes. Sign up today at ahs.com.
Stay far, stay on the assist. PhatDieselSquad.
I assisted with security things.
Swap. I assisted with football. Swap. Adventures. And stay far with the assist.
I can't even imagine one of them motherfuckers kicking me in my calf one time.
That shit hurt. That shit hurt.
I seen the motherfucker go on roof like he just kicked the motherfucker in his calf. He lifted his leg up like, God, man, I can't do it. But
I actually forgot about the DV. That's something that I feel that.
that's like that shit's unbelievable. That's one of them. That's one of them strikes that if the right person is doing it every time you do it, you're like, hey, I'm constantly taking that shit. You hear it, fellas.
It got there. It hurt. It hurts for real time.
Yeah,
But most things won't hurt you. Why if it's really what you know what I'm saying? But body shots, you know, the boxers they give it all the body shots. I think body shots probably hurt in the leg kicks and the calf kicks.
but why do they allow you to kick your knee go? Like, why do you don't go back?
So I think that this is a loophole. He said they said that they said they're kicking you right above you, like coming forward, but it's kicking you cap back.
Yeah.
It should be illegal, but they said I was a little weak kick. It just came out of nowhere. John Jones started some shit, and then right, he's one of the best. So all these other fighters are gonna copy.
So, with the streaming stuff, is it money you're streaming?
Money
Streaming. Yeah, I'm talking about the actual streaming.
actually, yeah, it can't be money, but not as much as some streamers. I think they fuck up the game. A lot of streamers they did some bullshit. They're saying they fuck up the game. So I can't like a little bit after like chickens. So they're not giving people business. So I think I would already had it to it. But I got other that they want to give me like big deals. So it is some platforms that will be, but I don't know how popular they are. But I do okay. I do okay. Off my hours, I do okay. But it's nothing to brag about.
So tell us about one.
One order. Oh man, it's Canadian water from the water. You know what I'm saying? I think that at the bottom, right? If you can stack bottles together, share with your friends and stuff like that, it's convenient, right? They're like $6. It's just not half. But once I tasted it, I got a great taste there. I don't like some water, but I ain't gonna put no water off the bus, but some of this water is not tasty. And water is like it's a good part of the water. And it's like a feel good project too, because you can take the environment, because the way the bottles are shaped, you can ship a lot more. You can ship a lot more bottles at one time, and it saves like billions of dollars. It's a good product.
You thinking about training your fighters? I mean, managing, being a manager?
I don't know about managing, because I don't know if I should manage. I don't know if I'm put managing about it, but you know, I got a son that's like he won't go bad. Yeah, he won't listen to me. So I'm like, oh, I know.
Did he take you in?
Huh?
Did he take you in?
No, we got to fight like 2 times. But you know, he can't take it.
Can't take you in.
Yeah, I think in all like 5 10 years, I'm gonna get old. I'm gonna be.
He's a little rough up on the couch. Shut up.
Yeah, about 5 or 6 more years left. But the last time we fought, we kind of feel like he won because like we was going at it, and he went in for a double leg in the house, and we got these big babies, like 100-year-old door. They got like sharp corners on, and we both falling towards it, and I kind of stopped, so I thought he was gonna stop too. I'm looking back, like we like fighting like cats and dogs. Yeah. No,
You slammed you on the table.
but you know, I didn't want to hurt myself or myself. Because at the same time, I'm fighting, but it's still my stomach. No, he took me took me down tape, and I caught myself. I pulled my bicep, and he took me down. We fell on the table in the wall. I told him get up. I said get up, because I'm hurt now. I didn't want to have I didn't want to keep. So we going to MMA and basketball and stuff, but I didn't want to. I didn't know I feel like. Yeah, he's no, I didn't tell me. Come on, bro. No, I didn't think you know, ball me. It's not that. See, listen, the kid that he was good. If he was good, he was wrong. See him? No, but listen, I said, I'm a fighter. I said he won, and I pieced him up, set him up. And all he did was like, you know, double leg. I'm trying to catch us so we don't both get out corner, like a head on the corner of the table. And I'm like, man, get off.
All I'm saying is, I never did in UFC. Like, I just know, like, in a street fight, right? It's you end up on the ground screaming, get up off some shit. Most of the time, what's the nephew name?
Roger.
Roger, you beat you, daddy. It's that shit. Go, he said, well, get off me, man. Get off me.
Between the couch and the ball.
He like this and shit. Rod, get off me. Like, Rod, out. Hey, Rod, don't have me, man. Rod, chill out, man. I'm telling you about my nuts, man. Chill out. Get up. I'm telling you about my nuts.
Damn, man. I can't never admit this story.
Man, you gotta give Rod his credit, man.
So I did. You know what? I did give him his credit for that. But all he did was took me down. That's all he did.
I done seen you tell Rod one time, he ain't get no pussy. Man, Rod just been going on ice.
Now he gets on now. He gets on now since we've been streaming. But before we streaming, he didn't want to get no pussy.
So hold on. So you mean to tell me, Rod, I'm talking to you? You mean to tell me the only reason why your dick isn't decorated is because of your dad?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he wasn't getting no pussy. He was living with me, right? Yeah. I'm seeing everything that's coming through there. Ain't nothing coming through there.
You ain't put a slice of cake in this motherfucker. Now, little chicken tender.
No, he gotta get his own. That's why he's fucking on my bitches. That's why he's so strong and slang. Stop strong, 100%.
Yeah, you got all the top score, man. You can't let it out.
No, but he like me tortical though, so now he got him a little tortical now, so
what's the tortical?
A big Mexican kid.
Well, yeah,
yeah, my son is tortical now.
Hell, damn.
You're not playing. You got a lot of little guys. You like tortical. He said, yeah, it's like, he's out here, hold on to their love, kind of like flap. Wow. All right, son.
Hey, like father, like son.
Oh, yeah, he's my clone for sure.
So you like those, whatever you
No, I don't go no sports though. That's kind of different though. I don't mess with the sports though. He's my clone, but then he got that from his skill. His great, my dad like big.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, wrong.
So you got that's right.
It's
good. No, I don't like big one. I don't like no fat for the back row. I don't like no fat.
So you like a thin one?
Yeah, thick. I like just okay. No, I can't do the. I can't do two bone. I can't do no. What you call it? No. What you call it? Cellulite. I can't do cellulite. I can't do it. Cellulite. I can't. I just don't like it. Too big. I can't do it.
I've been seeing you on stream. You be trying to take ass with.
No, I don't.
Well, shoot, dude. Nigga, I've seen you take vicious. I seen he was showing somebody a move he played against it. See, you got all say, well, I gotta get professional. Damn,
bro. Yeah, bro. I know, but that was a hard time. That right there had a big ass, bro. It was hard, bro.
Wow. So that's one of the favorite songs, huh? What? Let it snow. Let it snow.
I like them all.
You like them all?
Well, why is
nothing wrong with it?
Why is it that people on your stream always connect with you like they will?
I'm gonna keep it 100. These motherfuckers are the biggest trolls ever. I didn't know anything about the streaming culture. They troll you. Okay, they be your fans stuff like that. But my stream so happen to be they like comedians, so they funny as fuck, right? So I first started noticing the change when I stream with you collab with other streamers, but I collab with Aiden Ross. I don't know if you guys know who that is. I collab with Aiden Ross. The I got a lot of, I get a lot of people saying gay shit in my chat, like that same day. And then my son, like he's vegan, right? He's a fight vegan, and he's mad that I called him vegan. And then one time on my stream, because he saw it, he was streaming with me. I'm hanging out when he's streaming, he reading chat and everything. He see all these gay people saying stuff, all the daddy and stuff like that. Because that's what Aiden Ross said. The young generation, they be saying gay shit. They think it's cool, and you know I don't like that shit. And he kind of get on my skin a little bit. So my son got mad. He wanted me to stop calling him vegan because off the screen he said, "Man, hey man, you need to stop calling me vegan on stream because I eat honey." I said, "But you don't eat meat though. What the fuck I supposed to say? You know what I'm saying? You eat." No, what? You a vegetarian? So I call you a vegetarian? Look, he said, "No, because he don't eat no animal stuff." He said, "But I eat honey." I said, "But the honey pass." Yeah, he probably on that too. But so my son, he got mad at me. So to keep me from calling him vegan, he started saying vegan shit. He started saying, "Oh, he can go legit for all this." Yes, sir. My son started out with shit, and he said, "He just putting this shit out there, man. Go ahead on up to it, man. Come on, man. Come on." He was up. Son was home and shit. He was going through the books and shit. I'm like, my son went far. He was telling people in the chat that, you know what I'm saying, I be eating girls groceries and all that shit. He started saying all this shit. Ain't nothing wrong with leaving a little ass out till you pass out, man. No, man, I don't be doing none of that shit, man. It's straight. You gotta listen, man. You gotta listen. This the one. You got a little bubble on the bubble, the Slurpee straw from 7-Eleven with the spoon on it, and they love it. Good. Love it. Let's start calling your ass nigga booty, goddamn. You really eat booty.